Good shit. Hey, we need this, dub. We need to get this. This is a playoff game for us. Travel. Man, they caught that foul.
All right. See where Q at. I can't see that far.
Y'all
anyway.
ain't shit. All right.
Yo, are we good? Yeah, I was still setting things up. We're waiting on Q and Shelton won't be here, but FIFO should be joining us via Zoom. Let me see where Q's at. Sometimes Q on time, sometimes he just pop in. Let's see. Yeah, we got this next game on Atlanta.
It's a playoff game, y'all. I'm telling y'all, Mr. Ant-Man 2-7.
Mm-hmm.
This is our playoff game. We lose this shit, it's a wrap.
Magic Johnson got a documentary coming out?
Yeah, it's called.
They Call Me Magic.
Yeah, They Call Me Magic. There's too many Lakers shit coming out. That's how you know they losing.
Damn. Okay. That's gonna be interesting.
Have you watched the? Have you started watching that series?
Mm-mm.
You gonna wait till it's over?
Yeah, probably so. Unless we're gonna cover it.
There's a lot of shit we could cover. Is
Yeah.
that one, and there's something else coming out or that's already out that I was thinking about asking y'all.
Let me call FIFO.
RJ, keep making your free throws, bro. That's the only thing that's keeping us in the game.
Yo, you joining? Okay. All right. This fool forgot. I'm talking about FIFO be on in about 10 minutes,
He
y'all.
always forgets something. This nigga's probably on the game.
Yep. He probably on.
He probably is on the game. And he don't know I'm deleting the old league after this season.
Somebody put him on speaker. Nah, Rob, I ain't know what people gonna say, bro. But we're gonna go ahead and get started, man. I don't know where everybody at, but we ain't. I got
what you always say. We ain't in February no more, so you can say it now.
One monkey don't stop no show,
Don't
man.
stop the show. I'll let you get one a month, y'all.
All right. This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead End Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth B. Inch. Joining me on the show, we got the only person joining me on the show right now.
I guess I don't know if I feel special or I'm the last of the Mohicans. But yeah, shout out. What's going on? Your boy Duce. Back on a Tuesday night.
Yep. Shelton is out. Q, MIA. FIFO is on CP time. And that C stands for Cuban. All right. So he'll be with us in about 10 minutes. So but yeah, man, we can't wait on them because we got a show to do. So we got the Hawks Knicks game on TV right now.
Big game for both squads, actually.
Yeah, and I do have a question for you. I think I'll wait until maybe the
You know what's funny?
Who was the curly hair? Who was the
that's
dude?
Jericho Simmons. He's a rookie.
Okay.
They drafted him because Mitchell Robinson be hurt, but he's actually pretty good this season so far. But ever since Sheldon was like, RJ don't pass, he just be shooting and score. I'm like, bruh, you clearly don't watch this is one of them times where I would say these niggas don't watch the games. RJ's just being aggressive. He'll pass when he need to.
They really turned up the defense.
Don't let him shoot.
Who was that? Burke?
Yeah.
Tie game. No.
They took the lead. They took the lead. They
Oh, yeah. They tied it on the dunk.
Yeah. The one thing I do like about the Hawks, they bring the best and the worst out of the Knicks. And they be giving that little punk ass nigga these little chip shot fouls, bro. Come on. Even though Jericho Sims does look like a my player created motherfucker.
He does.
But what did you say was your question?
I heard you talking about Trey earlier. Like, it's just when he plays the Knicks, it's like when he goes to New York, he just put on a show. You think he'll ever go to New York?
Like if he was like free agent?
Yeah.
Nah. I think he the way Atlanta embraced him, and I don't even know where he's from. You know where he's from? Like originally? Let me look that up. But the way Atlanta embraced him, his relationship with Quavo and shit, I think he really, really like he's one of those people like I can see like a Dominique Wilkins or like who like a Michael Vick who always be like Atlanta is like a special place to me and I will, forever be grateful for it and I would, make it well known that I'm, I'm gonna represent here and be here.
Oh, that's your guy quickly. Yeah, it was just, and he may be one of those guys like LeBron. Like when he goes to New York, he gonna put on a show.
Yeah, he shows out.
And because he show out, people start thinking, oh, maybe he wants to come play here. But nah, it's just like I don't know, it's something about New York, man. He just loves to.
Everybody loves MSG because it's like everybody's watching. You can make a lot of money if you ball out. Look at what's his name? What's the guy with the Knicks who was balling back at the Asian guy?
Oh, Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, Jeremy Lin. Look at Jeremy Lin. He got a whole contract off of that in Houston just for like 7 games. Yeah, Lin Sanity was crazy. A lot of people get ate off of that. I see that Trae Young was born in Texas, but he went to high school in Oklahoma. So it makes sense why he went to Oklahoma. But Atlanta really embraced him. I everywhere I see, like it's just like you see a Trae Young jersey or like from the youth, and like he's out here in the streets. Not that I see him all the time, but like I know people who say like, oh yeah, he be here and here and there.
That's the sign they're gonna lose the game. That play. That was a good punch back. But I mean, they were up 12.
The Knicks was up 12. Yeah. They lost the lead. Y'all said, the basketball is a game of runs. So to me, it's just all about the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's what it's gonna matter.
Yep. But, all right, man. Let's get into it.
It's gonna be a mix, y'all, today. Half football, half basketball, of course, because we got March Madness to talk about. Even though no one really gives a fuck about March Madness this year, let's keep it a full bean. But let's start with the headlines. Football headlines.
I don't say headlines, man.
Why?
Don't say headlines.
Why not?
What you about to? Who we about to talk about?
You already know who we gonna talk about.
You can't say headlines.
Hey, don't get in your feelings about it now. I was gonna say shit. Deshaun Watson.
Man. Yeah. FIFO
technically got that right.
He did.
Even though he basically got it, he also got it wrong too.
Right.
He was wrong for about 48 hours.
Hey, look. And Manny talking about 2 wrongs can't make it right.
Hey,
shit.
Look at FIFO is both of them. Deshaun Watson, as everybody knows, and everybody who's seen my 365 knows, Deshaun Watson has been traded to the Cleveland Browns for what, 3 firsts, 2 thirds, a partridge, and a pitcher pear tree. We didn't really get the chance to we've talked about it behind the scenes afterwards, of course, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it live. What you think about the trade? And are the Browns now the favorite to win the AFC North?
So they lost a lot, and I think people are sleeping on the fact that Landry's gone. They may bring him back. I don't know, but all they got are 2 running backs. Like what the hell is he going to do with that? Now we've seen him do more with less, but Brandon Cooks wasn't all that bad. I don't see a Brandon Cooks as player on this roster right now.
People say Amari Cooper.
I forgot Amari Cooper was there.
The only Cooper I acknowledge.
I always forget
the only Cooper I acknowledge is nigga I was hanging with back in the 90s. All right. This Amari Cooper.
So we got Amari Cooper, but so that's one. Okay, so are they? I don't know, man. Like I kind of am somewhat in agreement with what you were saying. We haven't seen him, but I do know Deshaun Watson is special.
He is. There's no
and
lie.
I think him going there, I really need an oral. I can't say that. An oral history on how he.
Somebody with Deshaun Watson. Hey, we gonna have to calm down between both of us because we gonna have jokes for days.
Oh, how this even went down? Like, how do you go from saying no to saying yes? That's the story I want to know. I'm really interested in that story, but I mean, I like the pieces that they got now that I remember, or you pointed out that Amari was there. Um, so I think he can definitely do something with that if Amari can catch the ball. And so yeah, I think that we got to wait and see. I'm gonna take a wait and see approach because the Bengals are still there. You know, you said they've been short up the offensive line, right?
Yeah, they really have. They probably arguably had signed the best free agent offensive lineman out in
Okay.
free agency. They got they got the Collins guy from
Mm-hmm.
Dallas. They got one of the offensive linemen from Tampa Bay, and they got another offensive lineman from the Patriots.
Yeah, he has a lot there now. So now it's a matter of let's see if it really is Baker. Um, you have an upgrade in quarterback. Let's see if one of the retorts that people always say is that if Stefanski had a quarterback that can throw, he would call plays. He would call more passing plays. So we're going to find out. But nevertheless, I do agree that them getting Deshaun Watson. I mean, they did.
It's an
Yeah,
obvious
yeah, they came
upgrade.
out on top.
Yeah. My
I guess
my
I can't say that either.
yeah, I was like, this is a very touchy issue.
Yeah.
But I will say that it's an obvious upgrade. It's a win for Cleveland
hmm
because they talent wise, they have a top 10 quarterback. Talent wise.
hmm
Now this quarterback hasn't played, like you mentioned, or I even mentioned,
Yeah, you
almost
mentioned.
2 years. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of football time. And he was already, dealing with injuries before he left football. Because I remember he had a punctured lung and all. He couldn't even fly with the team at one point. Like he's thugged it out with a lot of injuries. So hopefully this time that he's taken off is,
Mm.
is is helping with that. But for me, more importantly, you mentioned it. I think we need to look back at this Cleveland roster. It's not how it was 2 years ago. And on top of that, we also need to look at where Deshaun Watson was 2 years
hmm
ago as well. Um, the last time he played football, he was 4-12. So it wasn't like he was really making a dent in football. Now we were impressed by his stats based off the team
Mm.
that he had, but as far as how I always say, what have you done lately? What are you doing? What have you produced? I mean, would you even say that he's a top 8 QB right now? Coming back, I don't even think he's a top 8 QB in the AFC.
Not top 8. Nah, I think he's on the outside of top 10.
I think he's top 15. And I'm only saying that based off of what I last
Mm.
saw. We don't know. It's kind of like a similar conversation what we had when we talk about Kaepernick. Whereas as far as we remember how good you were, but it's been a long time that we've seen how good you were.
hmm
And for him to come back for this Browns team, like you said, they only really have running backs, and also you have a not only the division winner but the AFC champion in your division. Not only that, you have a former MVP in your division, and you have the AFC West to deal with. A guy
hmm
who's been at 3 AFC titles back to back, another kid who's projected to be the next John Elway, and another guy who has a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowl appearances with 1 Super ring himself in that division. So my stance on Deshaun Watson is: does he help the Browns win this year? Yeah, he's about good for 3 games. I think he'll get them at least 10 games. He's gonna be better
Yeah.
than Baker. Baker was what, 6 games, 11 games, 6 games. He's gonna get you more consistency as far as wins, but I think that he is not gonna be as great as people are projecting him to be. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender with him just being on the roster.
Yeah, no Q tonight. He's it won't be able to make it. But no, I definitely think he'll help them. I think the question is if he gets 6 games, 6 or 8 games, can they go 500 to keep them in the hunt?
And that's also, he's gonna get suspended.
hmm
These cases, just because everybody popping bottles because they didn't go criminal, they still open civil cases. So even
Yeah,
if he gets convicted off of like 1 or 2 of those, the NFL's gonna be all right. That's about 4 to 8 games,
yeah,
and that's gonna happen at any point in time in the season.
and for I think that those cases will definitely be settled out of court. Probably get an NDA or something like that, and that'll be the end of it.
You saying they're gonna be done under the table? That's how they call that the Deshaun Watson special. I would stop. Go ahead. My bad.
NDA, no dick allowed clause.
They got to sign 2 forms before they get the money.
But so I think that's gonna happen, and that'll be that. One of the things that I did, I I was just looking at the response from a lot of people, people with this big moral high ground, and sexual assault is a very serious thing, misconduct, whatever, and it should be treated as such, of course, obviously, but it's like it shouldn't be this way, but it is, where people in positions of privilege and power tend to get by the system. And, he was one. Now, we also know that sexual misconduct, sexual assault cases are very, very hard to prove in court. So there's the other caveat. So him avoiding criminal charges due to lack of evidence or whatever it was, doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty or not guilty. But we also have to understand that the NFL don't really give a damn about that. They just needed it not to go there,
Exactly,
so they can do what they want to do.
Exactly.
So, people can get on there and tweet and say this and say that, but it is the way it is. It's always been this way.
He's still the crazy thing to me is that for a guy facing those charges and for missing about 2 years of football, he got 5 years, 230 guaranteed. That's the only reason why he's in Cleveland.
With the contract adjusted for the suspension. That's the other part. Now I don't know how that works out.
He got a black agent. They talking about, I forgot his name. I think it's
he does.
Yeah, I think is it David Mills, something like that. He's got a black agent. Right now, he's the number 1 agent in the league for me.
He got a black agent.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. So we got this man who got strung up in the sexual misconduct cases, 22. Managed to avoid that, and this guy managed to sell a black man to a team. Man, I tell you, man, he can run, throw, and do anything.
That's black excellence to me.
Gotta be. It's something.
Because to me, it's just like, I think that's because I think he was really going to go to Atlanta. I think he was really going to the Falcons or the Saints. What happened was, I think the Panthers said they weren't going to guarantee his 3rd or 4th year, and Cleveland was the only one. Because remember, the report said Cleveland was out. He didn't want to go to Cleveland. Yep. But because Cleveland said, "Look, we'll give you fully guaranteed," all them other teams was not guaranteeing those last couple years.
Got it.
So that's why he was like, "All right, I'll go to Cleveland." So it wasn't based off the roster, which most people were like, "Look, Cleveland's the best roster," or the Saints had the best roster. It was based off of, I'm trying to get paid. I missed out on 2 years of money.
That is a very good point. Cassie is hidden, but yeah, Washington and Dallas, he said, are going through sexual allegations right now as we speak. Yeah, Washington had a whole thing going on. We talking about the whole organization. So that is a very, very, very good point. And we notice how those conversations died down. So it is what it is. But I wanted to look, because I saw Peter King quote tweet something about saying having human decency, because somebody asked why were so many teams going after him, and there was something about human decency. So I was like, let me see what these motherfuckers were saying about Ben Roethlisberger. And they were writing some pretty scathing articles about him too, because it had been so long I couldn't remember.
People forgot. That's the thing about all this shit. People forget, because the games be that exciting that you be like, you forget about that shit.
Yeah, his was misconduct and his was alleged rape.
Yeah, his was worse.
Yeah,
based off of the charges.
Yeah, it's a volume game for Watson.
Yeah. But like Simplistic Grace asked, where does Baker go though? This whole thing has been interesting because Baker Mayfield is still technically a Cleveland Brown. He's still a QB on this roster who is in his 5th year. So he still got the 5th year option. Are they going to, and we'll get to the other news, the other headline news as far as in the NFL that does play a part in this. But for right now, I think Baker, I think you keep Baker. Because ain't nobody else going to take him. Who else want that nigga?
There's almost, about when a woman's fed up and when a woman's scoring, bro, when a white man is scoring.
Hey, when a white man scoring, hey.
You better look out. That's some whole other shit. Man, Baker blow that whole motherfucker up. I don't know where he could go though.
Everybody else got QBs or is literally kicking the can for next season.
He can go to Carolina.
I think
Shelton would quit the damn show.
I think Carolina done with white man. I think they tied a mediocre white man like man like a black woman on Juneteenth. Like it's a
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know where he goes. Like, and we can. I mean, Simplicity Grace. I don't. To answer your question, I think they keep him until midseason. Somebody's gonna need a QB.
Yeah, at some point they will. He definitely will be. I mean, because you got to trade him. I mean, I would to try to get something for him, whether it's third, fourth, or fifth. So
I don't even think he'll get third.
You can get a third for him.
We gonna get to it, but Matt Ryan went for a third. And he's an MVP.
Let me look
and he played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he lost that motherfucker.
I mean, yeah, of course. I'm just saying he played in one though.
Yeah, let me see who all out here because I think Eric, like you said, Eric.
The only teams that could use a QB.
Let me see here, NFL.
If we're talking about technicality, I mean, you could talk about the Giants. You could talk about,
damn, Patriots got one. The Dolphins.
You could talk about Miami. You could talk about who else is there?
The AFC North is locked up.
The AFC North is locked up. AFC West is locked up.
What about the Texans?
Texans are going to draft. They got 3 first-round picks now, I think. They could draft Willis.
The West is locked up too. Yep, they got their
QBs. The AFC East is pretty much locked up. The Bills, the Pats got a QB. The Dolphins will need one.
I know you mentioned them already. Chicago got the
Jets got a QB. Like that's what I'm saying. Everybody really had the Vikings. Gave Kirk Cousins that guarantee.
Who does Seattle have?
Seattle has what's his name from Denver? Who used to be at Denver? Who used to fuck with Jeezy heavy? Drew Lock. Yeah, Drew Lock. I mean, Drew Lock is basically
Baker Mayfield. But
on a better contract.
But yeah, man, poor Baker. Baker in a bad spot. But it should have been better. Seattle, Carolina, they're the only two I think that could take a flyer on them.
And those is basically farts in the wind trades too, because they want a QB next year too.
Right. So. And if you're Seattle, you can just throw Drew Lock out there and just, see what happens. Carolina, I don't think you'll see a move for Baker until after the draft.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yep. Or maybe mid-draft. Maybe a team would be like, look, you know what? I'd rather just give you this pick and get Baker than to waste it on trying to reach for somebody.
Yeah. Especially if, you don't get Willis, you don't get Kenny Pickett.
Boy, they gassing up these QBs in this draft class, bro. These QBs is decent at best. Most likely shitball. But yeah, the next headline we got as we move on. The Atlanta Falcons have traded Matt Ryan to the Colts for a 3rd-round pick. My question to you, Ken, and to the audience, everybody listening, are the Colts now contenders now that with Matty Ice as their QB?
Yes, I believe so.
Serious contenders or just playoffs?
The playoffs, yeah, they'll get to the playoffs. I'm trying to send FIFO this link. I'm afraid if I might get us signed out. Let me see here. Hold on, I gotta get FIFO the link.
Right. But I agree. I think they're contenders.
Yeah, Matt Ryan will win that last game.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's gonna win that last game. I think that this is the QB they've been waiting to get for the longest. I believe that if you look at the stats, Matt Ryan's been balling quietly. It's very quiet. Like a rat piss. It's very quiet in Atlanta with the weapons that they've got. I think that they can, with Matt Ryan in Indianapolis, they have arguably the best run game in not only in the division but in the conference. They have arguably one of the best offensive lines, not only in the division but in the conference. The only thing is they have a top 10 defense for the last 2-3 seasons, and they got decent weapons. The only thing they need to do is get wide receivers and tight ends, which is probably pretty much the easiest, especially going into this draft class. With all these wide receivers and shit, they can get somebody. The only thing that I could see them, the only reason why I would probably be hesitant on the Colts is more so what Matt Ryan has left in the tank. But from what I've seen from Frank Wright, he actually does get the best as far as statistically out of his QBs. Now, as far as that meaning something in the playoffs, that's a whole nother question. But yeah, like Kim mentioned, I think they're gonna get to the playoffs. I think they actually may be a scary dark horse if everything plays right. If everybody stays healthy in that team, I mean, shit. We see Matt Ryan, like I mentioned earlier, he got to a Super Bowl. He was one field goal away from winning it. But yeah, I actually think that the Colts can. The Colts may end up winning the division actually, because I don't think that I think he's better. I think Matt Ryan right now is better than Ryan Tannehill. And based off the last time I seen the Titans, shit, they don't really have no pass game. It's just a run game. You shut that shit down, you shut down the Titans. Hold on, yeah, they said the black screen.
Yeah, it's back.
Be back.
Yeah. I had to send that to the FIFA. I must have started the wrong Zoom link.
But
Yeah, you know what? This was an interesting trade to me for them to get Matt Ryan.
what was interesting about it?
Well, obviously he was definitely pissed and in his feelings about what happened with with them pursuing Watson. So but I think that Matt Ryan will be the quarterback they hoped Carson Wentz was gonna be.
Yes.
And I think that, he still can play the game. And so for them to get a guy that can still think and throw and play at that level with, like you said, Frank Wright, to get with Frank Wright, Frank Wright could be able to do more with Matt Ryan than he could with Carson Wentz.
I agree.
So, um, especially with Jonathan Taylor now, and they still got those receivers, right?
The receivers are Pittman is decent,
Pittman, nice.
But I think with Matt Ryan, we could see more explosiveness out of Pittman. But they gotta draft somebody or get somebody free agency.
Yeah, like the thing is also like you can't just blitz Matt. You can blitz him obviously, but you can't blitz him to the point where if you blitz Carson Wentz, we know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna close his eyes and probably throw the ball. But with Matt Ryan, you can't do that. All the accolades you already cited, went to a Super Bowl. It wasn't his fault they lost. It was Kyle Shanahan. So
It's kind of his fault.
I mean, call a couple of run
plays. Yeah, I would say
like
just run the clock out.
So, but no, I think they finally got someone that they can actually get the ball out, because they went from Phillip Rivers to Carson Wentz and now to Matt Ryan.
They someone said this. They haven't had the same week 1 starter since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. That's almost 10 years where they have a different QB starting week 1.
Wow.
Yet they've made the playoffs twice in the last 4 years. And they should have made it 3 times in the last 4 years if it wasn't for that game against Jacksonville.
Yeah, which Frank Wright needs to take a lot of heat for that too.
Because he vouched for the nigga.
Yeah, and in that last game, he didn't coach a good game either. So, and not only that, he lost that last game, and then the game before that.
Yeah, the Texas game. They said the Texas game. Somebody mentioned that in one of the chats. Like that Texas game they lost was bullshit.
Yeah, so it was a couple of games as a coach, that he lost. But I think the other thing about this whole thing is that, like, you knew you can repair the relationship with Matt Ryan, and you basically told all of us that you are in a rebuild mode. But it also highlights what we discussed ad nauseum last year about what's his name, about taking Pittman over Justin Fields. That looks horrible. And when I'm thinking about the Falcons organization, like,
I mean Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. When I think about, like, is there no forward thinking there? Because if you knew Watson well, you didn't know that, but you still have to somewhat maybe think and plan accordingly. Like, man, what if Watson doesn't have charges filed against him? Would we be in the running for that, or do we want to go after him? And if that's the case and you don't get him, then you got to think about what that does to the relationship you have with the quarterback that's been here that took you to a Super Bowl. But yeah, it felt like that. It reeked of desperation.
Man, does it so? Because for me, like you mentioned, we all was young at the screen last year on the draft. Like, Justin Fields is right there, Atlanta boy, wanted to play for Georgia, couldn't. Just like what's his name? Just like with my homeboy Joe Burrow. Wanted to play for one team, but had to go to somewhere else. Wanted to play for Ohio State, had to go to LSU. Wanted to play for Georgia, had to go play at Ohio State. He's right there at 4. You're picking 4. If you choose a tight end,
a tight fucking end.
I don't give a damn if he's generational talent or not. It's a tight end. No one has ever said we won tight end away from winning a Super Bowl or competing for a division.
No, never.
So in a QB-rich draft class too, just a year ago today.
Yep.
Now we're in a shitball QB class where Kenny Pickett, what's his name? I don't know his name is Pickett, and Malik Willis.
That's it. And I think there's some other guys, but
ain't nobody. It don't matter between after that. I mean, shout out to my boy Desmond Ridder, but outside of that, those are second, third round picks. If we're talking about value, I just think that with them, it was more of, like you mentioned, I think last year they were like, look, let's ride out Matt Ryan. His contract is crazy. We can't really trade him, all that shit. And I'd rather have Matt Ryan now than try to fuck with a rookie for the next 4 or 5 years, and we may have to redraft again. I get that maybe. But once they found out that Deshaun Watson was available, then they was like, all right, let's talk to the nigga like everybody else.
Yep.
But obviously, if you're talking to him, everybody know you're talking to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a big headline. I just don't understand how you lose not only the franchise QB that is the best he's the best player that Atlanta's ever had.
Yeah, he has.
How do you lose him for a third-round pick?
That was the other thing that got me. Like, a third-round pick. Now, I know Matt Ryan is old, but, God, you can get a second? Or if the asking price was a third, you can get a third, a fifth, or a seventh. Just a third? Was it just a third straight up?
It was just a third straight up. That's all I saw.
Nah, bro. And you could have picked Fields and just had him sit for a year, and then made your move. And then they got to take that cap hit too, don't they?
40 mil. So it's like you're gonna take the cap hit for Marcus Mariota.
And that's the other thing. They brought Marcus Mariota here. Now, this is a motherfucker that has skated by his whole fucking career because motherfuckers wanted to talk about goddamn Jameis Winston and how bad he was.
Yeah, talk about it.
Mariota was the second pick in the draft.
Second pick. No one remembers the second pick in the draft. No one remembers. No one remembers the second pick in the draft.
But I do, because they were hyping him up. Talking about he was going to be better. He's better than Winston. He's a mature guy and all this other stuff. And he ain't been shit.
He ain't been shit. And you know they call him in Atlanta Marcus Mariota. I think obviously the Colts won that trade. Atlanta's in a dumpster fire. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do.
They're gonna be a hot mess.
I think they pick 8th in this draft, so they must have. Talking to Kyle, 12 Kyle, shout out to 12 Kyle. They have to pick they have to draft the QB maybe.
Yeah,
I don't see how you just let this season go by. I can understand maybe you kicking the can till next season, but there's only 2 QBs coming out next year that everybody really want: C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young.
Yep. So let me see draft order.
So unless you win the top 2, maybe that's why they got Mariota.
Yeah, because I think they may not get their guy this year, and they may not get their guy next year. So maybe they're looking to year 3. So let me see. Tie game. Oh,
he got this.
You called it.
It's a tie game. Less than 3 minutes left.
And Nick's playing hard as shit.
They got to. We got 41.
Damn, we got 41?
He been making a lot of threes. You can't let him. You can't let him.
And he's not. I mean, he can hit threes, but he's not like Steph Curry. Not. Oh yeah, body him up. Good help defense. Oh, you know he about to play hero. You know Trae Young.
Get the ball out of his hands. Double team this nigga. But let me read some of these super chats because y'all saying I'm ducking the super chats. You got something to say?
No, go ahead.
We Them Boys, shout out to you, says Kaepernick got a better employment chances than Baker. I doubt that because Cap black and Baker
black. Cap still on social media.
He over here. He look like that nigga from the Napoleon Dynamite doing them football videos. Ain't nobody calling your ass
bro,
up.
Cap, it's over, man.
It's a wrap,
sorry,
bro.
man. It's over. You took one for the team.
Yeah.
It's over.
Embrace it. Joshua Jericho, shout out to you. Hey, y'all. It's the season of for outdoor basketball games till them Friday night lights come on. Hope you guys are doing great. We may have to run back the Dead End versus Indy Harb. We gotta do a since it's March Madness, we might as well do a little tourney.
Hey, that video out there, I think somebody was talking about they were watching it.
Mr. Ant-Man 27, look at the Texas team and tell us what he had, Nick. That team was atrocious. I hate when they say that it went up to 11. I mean to 6.
Yeah.
It may be a wrap for the Knicks.
Who was that light skin? Is that Hunter?
Yeah, Hunter
different.
back. Yeah, Hunter back.
Didn't look like Hunter. Looked like somebody else.
I hate when people say a team is atrocious, but then Watson had almost 5,000 yards and threw for like over 25 touchdowns that season, I believe. So you can't have it both ways. Either the team is garbage and his stats should show it, or if his stats don't show it, then the team ain't that garbage.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, I'll wait till you finish.
And Marty McFly says, y'all hear about Urban Meyer complete incompetence? Yes. We have seen the reports, but go ahead, Ken. I know you want to speak on it.
Hold on. That was crazy.
The nigga
How the fuck you don't know who Aaron Donald is?
That's what I was about to say. The nigga say who the hell 99?
What the fuck? Somebody lying, man.
Bro, I can't believe.
There's no way.
I thought the worst thing was when he was kicking the kicker. Because I was like, say that 5 times fast. My thing was, I thought that was agreed. The nigga didn't know who Aaron Donald was.
Which I have the question, what type of white man Urban Meyer is? Because one thing white men always do is they know who an aggressive black man is. Right? Who is this motherfucker? No, that's crazy, bro. That's fucking crazy. They trying to ruin his reputation. There's no way he didn't know. Everybody know him. And you're the coach. You're supposed to know who he is. You're supposed to say, give me a list, especially you coming into this out of college. Give me a list of all the top 25 players in the league. And every week, you should probably have a report of the players you need to watch out for. Just I don't know, man. I refuse to believe that.
Yeah, the Urban Meyer shit just makes me more upset. Not just for him. It's more so like all these black coaches that don't get no legit opportunities because it's like this nigga don't even know who's in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did he got a fucking the best job you could get coming out of. Oh yeah, Trey.
He be doing the Knicks dirty, bro.
He cooking these.
I mean, he had that motherfucker just all over the place. That's it.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Oh, that's his career high? Oh, he about to get somebody else.
I thought he had 50 before.
I thought he did too. Maybe that was at home.
This is the Knicks coaching, bro. It's like, why were you letting Trey get one? Like, why is he bringing the ball up and having
now
no pressure?
Got this motherfucker again. Come on, Trey. Stop it. She's such a showboat.
Because he already got the win.
There you go. He got him again. Bye. Oh, shit. He knew he failed, too. That's why he shot the shot, because he did that for
And he
Bleacher
pointed at
Report.
his ass, too. That's goaltending.
Oh, fuck. Oh. Well, I mean, shit, niggas. It's not over yet.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I can tell when the Knicks is done. It's a 5-point. It's a 5-point game.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw how hard they were playing, and it seemed like they were getting some breaks go their way.
Nah, it was too early in the game. That's what I
Not
realized.
even down the stretch, because a couple of plays went their way, and then they went back up by 3 and stuff like that, and next thing you know, it came back. But
Yeah, they hit the rim.
yeah, but it's still
They hit the
playing hard.
backboard.
But so I was looking at this, so maybe this explains why they did what they did. They just better hope it falls their way. Malik Willis is all they got. If they don't pick him, then
To the Falcons.
yep, with the 8th pick. So I was just looking at, and this is just a mock draft. This shit can go any kind of way, but it don't look like any of them need anybody ahead of them need a quarterback. So
So
Jacksonville got
Cam,
Trevor. Yeah,
I heard people don't use the T word tanking anymore, but basically Atlanta's looking at next year's draft because they're gonna have a top 5 draft pick. They're just devoid of talent. So they're talking about the Falcons aren't gonna take the quarterback in this draft. That next year's draft is more quarterback heavy. They're gonna have a top 5 pick. Any way you cut it, slice it, think about it. Realistically, the only household name that they have on the roster now is Kyle Pitts. Literally. Who else do you know? All right, maybe Grady Jarrett.
Nah,
yeah.
not even that.
Then if I'm them and I don't take Malik Willis, who am I taking? The O-line? Charles Cross? You're going to take a quarterback, Amar Gardner. There's a receiver, Drake London. Derek Stingley's there. Devin Lloyd. Then it gets into the 4th and 15 picks.
I'll get an O lineman.
Yeah, I'll take O-line. They got an extra 3rd round pick this year. I think you got to build it from foundation up. If we're not going to take a quarterback this year, that's fine. But I think they need to adjust O and D line. The Falcons don't have nothing. So this is a complete rebuild now. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they're not going to have, with the dead cap hit and all of that type of stuff. So to me, just upgrade the O-line, D-line, and next year get a quarterback, and we'll see.
Well, you got Marcus Mariota, so tanking won't be all that difficult.
What you think about the Ryan to the Colts, though? Were you surprised by that trade?
No, not at all. When you look at the Colts want to consider themselves a win now team because you look at the success that Phillip Rivers had 2 years ago. They brought in Carson Wentz, thinking, okay, cool, we could get a little bit younger, cheap at quarterback. This guy has proven to, do a little things in the league, but it just didn't work. They didn't make the playoffs. Matt Ryan is an immense upgrade over Carson Wentz. Physically, no, because we know that Matt Ryan physically isn't the same guy, but we know this about Matt Ryan. He has talent still. He's a wily veteran that understands coverage, right? So he'll make the plays that are necessary to win. So I like the move for the Colts because when you look at that division, who's better than them? They should win that division. So I like it from. Man, the Titans are so questionable. They're so Derrick Henry dependent that if he has a bad game or he gets injured again, God forbid that doesn't happen, but it's a wrap. Like you latching your trailer to Ryan Tannehill.
I mean,
would you take Ryan Tannehill over Matt Ryan right now?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying they were the number 1 seed last season in the AFC. So, and they're in the same division. So I'm just saying, and they got arguably the best running back in the division in the conference, who got hurt, who had almost 1,000 yards in up to week 7 before he got hurt. So
yeah, but Jonathan Taylor is a very close second. The reason why I have to say very close, obviously Derrick Henry is the better player, but how much younger is Jonathan Taylor? How many less miles does Jonathan Taylor have? And who's more versatile? And then you get Matt Ryan there. The outside weapons aren't all that, but that O-line is amazing. When's the last time Matt Ryan even had a decent O-line? Not even the Super Bowl year, the O-line was, they just had weapons all over the place. So yeah, man. To me, when I look at the Colts, even if they don't win the division, they shouldn't be more than the 2 games behind the Titans. They shouldn't be that far off.
Let me ask you a question, Vivo.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're kind of getting set with who's going to be who in the AFC conference, what division is tougher, the AFC North or the AFC West?
West,
No question.
no question. West. To me, the West has it's like the Browns times 4, right? Like what I mean by that, for the last couple of years, I say like the Browns got 2 of everything, like Jesus, it's like Noah's Ark. And you look at the rest of those teams, like they all got 2 of something. And it's just tough. Like, just think about the quarterback play, right? Like when I compare the North versus the West, the weakest quarterback in the North is Trubisky. The weakest quarterback in the West is Derek Carr. That's a big difference. That's a big difference, right? When I look at the weapons that the Raiders have, it's like, bro, like, how you gonna cover Devontae now? Darren Waller's out there. They got a running back, Josh Jacobs. Derek Carr had obviously a phenomenal year. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you can't double team Devontae now? So like I like the Raiders. The Broncos obviously have upgraded immensely. That defense was a top 5 defense. They're coming back. That offense had all of the weapons minus a quarterback. They got a quarterback now. Obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. You're saying we're not going to question that. And then what's the last team? The Chargers. I think that's the biggest question mark, but solely because they haven't won, not because of they're devoid of talent.
What about you, Ken? North or the West?
Toughest division?
Yeah.
West.
Same reason.
Shit.
I'm saying North.
Shit. Yeah, but Trubisky is the
Well,
the
I'm
one.
saying North because of the Steelers, not because of Trubisky. We've seen Mitch Trubisky with the Bears
Hey,
and as a backup in Buffalo. But
bro.
for me, with the Steelers, if they could bring out Peg Leg Ben, for 2 seasons and get to the playoffs still, because at this point, Mike Tomlin, he can't lose. He hasn't shown me that he's lost in the 15 years he's been coaching or something like that.
He hasn't.
So you give him a younger QB who's athletic, and let's not. I know FIFA gonna probably come back on and yell at me. Mr. Trubisky overall's record is he has a winning record. He's not as bad. He wasn't worth the top 2 pick that he was, but he's not a horrible QB. And to me, as long as you're not a just god-awful QB, you can make some noise in Pittsburgh because they're going to run the ball, they're going to play good defense, and they're going to get you over 500. I say also North because obviously the Bengals just won that whole conference, and they got better.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get worse. They actually got better, and they still have the draft coming up. The Ravens got healthier, and they signed some free. They got better as well, and they have the draft coming up. And as we know with the Browns, they obviously got better and have the draft coming up. So to me, it's like the Chargers haven't proven they can even get to the playoffs. At least we don't have to say that about Pittsburgh. At least we don't have to say that about Cincinnati. At least we don't have to say that about Baltimore. Baltimore's on track to get to the playoffs.
Shit, even the Browns have made the playoffs.
Even the Browns made the playoffs within the last 2 years. Exactly. The Raiders barely squeaked in. The Chargers and the Raiders basically barely squeaked into the playoffs, even though one of them didn't get in. And then you got the Broncos who won 7 games last season with all the shit that even FIFO said. They had a top 5 defense or a top 8 defense. They got a decent run game and all that shit, but they still couldn't get past 7 wins. So they have more to prove to me than the AFC North. We're just going off of fantasy and predictions. But for what has been done, what we can kind of go off of more is the AFC North.
Now, I'll tell you this. I have been thinking about Trubisky out of Chicago and with a competent coach. I don't know what that looks like. You can only do so much with your talent. But I was just curious as to what they can cook up with him. Like, I was sitting there thinking one day, I was like, man, maybe they're going to get the best out of Trubisky. I don't even know what that looks like.
Me neither.
But
because Matt Nagy clearly
Yeah.
can't coach.
I know
Look,
it.
man.
But think about it.
Look.
Before it's Matt Nagy.
No. Look. Matt Nagy did everything in his power to get Trubisky easy plays, because Trubisky, a la Baker, they can't play the quarterback position at the highest level to win in the league. What that means is staring down the barrel, pressure coming right here, and making throws, reading defenses, moving around, being consistently accurate.
They can coach that. They coach that.
No, you can.
They coached it into Josh Allen. Josh Allen can do all that shit.
And he's an anomaly. In the last 10 years, how many quarterbacks have come in relatively inaccurate and all of a sudden they're hitting 70+%? Doesn't happen. Now, can you go and be a rookie and do about 65, 66 and get to 70? Of course, because that's just time and experience. But you can't come in 50-some% and then jump to 70-some. That don't happen, Ken. That just doesn't happen. So, look, let me ask the room a question. Is Trubisky or Baker Mayfield the better quarterback?
You said who?
Shit.
Trubisky or Baker Mayfield? Who the better quarterback?
Trubisky.
Why?
I believe he's a better athlete. He has better intangibles. And he's more likely to you can easily coach him better than Baker.
I like that sweater. I would go with Baker.
I think Baker gets in his head a lot, and you can't really coach him out of that shit.
Why you say Baker, Ken?
I mean, he is accurate with the ball. At least he was supposed to be accurate with the ball.
Who?
Baker. He's more accurate than Trubisky. He probably don't have the arm.
You could put cheese on a shit sandwich, bro.
I mean, it's gonna be cheesy.
It's
gonna be a cheesy piece of shit.
It'll be but nah, man. I he has the athleticism. He being Trubisky, but give me Baker's mentality and arm accuracy over Trubisky.
Let's cut the shit. What mentality are we like lauding over with Baker? What the fuck is he doing? What mentality?
It's better than Trubisky.
I'm just saying, what mentality are we talking about?
A will and a want to win and a belief that you're the best guy out there.
And where'd that get him?
It got him a busted shoulder.
No. He lost
year.
his job to a black man. When was the last time you see a white quarterback lose his job to a black man?
Where it got him the year before, it got him to the playoffs and a Super Bowl win.
They rather go trade for a nigga with 22 cases out on him than deal with your punk ass who is still on his rookie deal. And it's not even time for him to get paid.
He's a magical Negro, man. It's like the movies.
This motherfucker hasn't even won a playoff game, or he's won maybe one playoff game. He's won them out. I know probably the same for a fact that y'all can correct me in the chat. Watson in his whole career has won as many playoff games as Baker.
Yeah, but he's way better.
That's
like way better.
Talent-wise, yes. But I'm just saying, as far as situationally, that mentality that Baker has, that people keep on talking about, oh, he's got a chip on his shoulder. That chip ain't shit.
It's not the chip on the shoulder. But at the end of the day, it's gotten him to the damn fucking NFL. And I'm not gonna discredit the playoff run he had. Like, regardless of however the first season went or this season went, he did something in Cleveland that a lot of motherfuckers couldn't do. And now he gone and I'm not mad at it because, a black guy came through. But, I ain't seen Trubisky do shit.
So to answer my own question, you already know how I feel about this player. And he's better. Baker. Baker is a better quarterback than Mitchell Trubisky. And because of that, that's the reason why I got to go AFC West. Like, I don't know what it looks like with an established organization with Mitchell Trubisky. But I think what it's gonna be conservative. Both of these guys, you don't just let loose and just go do what you want to do. Why? Because you're gonna turn the ball over. The best quarterbacks are the ones that you say, hey, just go out there and go play. right? Like we see Aaron, Mahomes plays loose. Russell Wilson wants to play loose, which is why he left. You know, all of the big name household quarterbacks, you allow them to play loose because they don't turn the ball over. Both Trubisky and Baker are turnover prone. And Nick, I'll give you the fact that Trubisky is a bigger, better athlete. He is. But what does that give you? Right? Like what type of advantage? Like his numbers don't look better than Baker's numbers in the years that they played. I think Trubisky's been out for a year now, not really playing. So look, man, at the end of the day, the Steelers, I think this is going to be Mike Tomlin's first losing season. And I don't think there's nothing he can do about it.
I'm sorry, Nick, but I was going to say Trubisky better not take his ass up there and give Tomlin his first losing season. I would never let him live that shit down.
FIFO, we got it.
And I'm concerned.
I don't know when we're going to start this. We may have to start this during the NBA. Should we start during the NBA playoffs? Or maybe just into the fall season once football starts, we can reset. But we got to start taking down our takes and following them moving forward. Because I'm about to tell you this one. Mr. Trubisky will have a winning record, or at least be 500 with the Steelers. I'm saying that right now with the
Red Cup. It won't be because of Trubisky?
It don't matter. Yep. It don't matter. He's going to be on the team. Just like we say Nick, Jimmy Garoppolo got that winning record, and we say it ain't because of him, and we know it ain't because of him, but he still got that record on his resume because of the teams.
I won't be mad at it.
I'm saying this with the red cup in my hand, that Mr. Trubisky is going to get over 500. He's not going to ruin Mike Tomlin's losing season or whatever shit.
I think he is. Because when you look at the division alone, do you think that they're going to split in the division? You think they're going to go 1-1 against all them teams up there in the North?
No, I'm not talking about the North. I'm just talking about in general. The schedule.
I feel you, but
especially with one more game in the season.
But you're gonna have to split with a good bit of them three teams. You're gonna have to split. You want to get the 500, you're gonna have to split with a good bit of them. You really think that they can beat Bengals, Ravens healthy? If they get hurt again like that, it is what it is.
I think they could beat the Browns once.
No. Okay, they can beat the Browns if Deshaun is suspended, and that's the game that they're playing.
So Deshaun's going to get suspended. That's guaranteed.
We understand that, but we don't know what the schedule looks like. So we don't know if yet. Pittsburgh is going to play him with or without Deshaun.
Yeah.
You playing with Deshaun, they're not beating them. They're not beating that.
Deshaun ain't unbeatable, nigga. Like, they can split that.
No, Nick, you want to put money on that, Nick?
If as long as Deshaun's playing, yeah, we can put money on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's my take, because I based off of the last couple seasons watching Pittsburgh, bro, they should not have been in the playoffs at all. But they made it. They made it over the Chargers, over the Colts, over a couple of the teams that if we look at the roster, look at the quarterback play, like, bro, these teams is better if we're just going off of that. Tomlin and the coaching staff in Pittsburgh make it happen with a hurt wash Big Ben. I don't think Mitch Trubisky right now, as far as ability-wise, is where Big Ben was the last couple seasons. So I'm giving them that. And of course, like you mentioned, FIFO, it's going to be conservative. They're a run team, defense team anyway.
See, but you're looking at it from Pittsburgh's perspective. I'm looking at it as a whole. When I look at that division, I'm like, okay, well, the Bengals, like you said, AFC North and AFC champs, I don't see Pittsburgh beating them twice. Why? For what? They can't put up the amount of points required to beat the Bengals. And then we know Joe Burrow's Joe Cool. When it comes down the stretch, are you worried about him not making the big play? Nah, we know Joe's going to make the big play. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Obviously, if they're healthy and Lamar is playing again at another MVP level, because last season at the beginning of the year he was playing at MVP level. Now he has weapons back. I don't think that Pittsburgh team could beat them boys twice. They can't stop the Ravens. The Ravens really stopped themselves, obviously due to injury and a whole bunch of other stuff. Then we look at the Browns with Deshaun Watson. Look, there was a stat that I heard Dan Orlovsky say, and I want to say is quarterbacks that have a 4-to-1 touchdown ratio and complete over 70% of their passes over the last 15 years. The only quarterback to do that and not make the Super Bowl was Deshaun Watson. With that being said, and we know what them Texans look like, and we know what the
That's
Browns
what I'm saying. That's a fart in the wind stat, FIFO.
That's not a fart in the wind stat, bro. When every single one do something because they're efficient and they don't turn the ball over, we already know. Nick, you agree that the quarterback position in the NFL is by far the most important position, right?
Yes.
So if I don't turn the ball over, and for every one interception I throw, I'm throwing 4 touchdowns. Every single quarterback to do that makes it to the Super Bowl.
Except who?
Every single one. Come on.
I'm saying, you said except who? He did all that shit and what did that turn to? He the exception to the whole rule.
But you know the reason why is because the roster isn't good.
Okay, now we blaming the roster.
Nick.
So I'm just saying, I'm going off of your stat. Your stat is a guarantee. Your stat was a guaranteed stat, was it not, kid? Anybody who does this usually goes to the Super Bowl and make a Super Bowl appearance.
Nick, you're telling me that the Texans had a competent roster.
No. I'm just saying, based off what you said, those QBs that have done the things that you said in that stat have usually made an appearance or made it to the Super Bowl, or did they win? I'm not sure exactly how you ended it, but I know Super Bowl was in there, except for Deshaun Watson. So to me, that someone brought that up too. They were saying like, Nick, you can't be so hard on Deshaun Watson in Houston. He had a shitball roster, but like the stats that y'all keep throwing at me is with that roster. So how am I supposed to take what you're saying? Like, tell me how am I supposed to look at this?
Because there's a reason, Nick. There's a reason why every other QB made the Super Bowl and Deshaun did not. What's the reason? It's not because of Deshaun. It's not because he couldn't put up the number. He put up the numbers. So what's the reason? Let's understand context. They had a horrible head coach / GM. They were devoid of weapons. They were devoid of an O-line. They were devoid of a star defender.
Let me interrupt you real quick. You said they had a horrible head coach GM. Wasn't that same head coach GM that was up 24-0 on the Chiefs in that playoff game?
What did they do? Did they win or lose?
Weren't they on the road in that game?
Did they win or did they lose, Nick?
Okay, I'm just going to say Bill O'Brien got them to the playoffs. What, 4-5 years straight?
4 to 5 years, something like that.
4 or 5 years straight. They won the division for like at least the majority of that time too. So it wasn't like they were shitty. And it wasn't like they couldn't do shit against the Chiefs, who won. I think they won that Super Bowl that season, or at least got to the AFC title game that year. When they made those big comebacks and shit. So again, like I'm saying, like I don't know how to take that. Like y'all keep on saying these stats that's supposed to mean something.
I'm telling you,
but then they don't mean nothing at the end of the day.
It means a whole bunch, because again, when you look at, and I don't remember the year that Deshaun did that, but when you look at that roster versus all of the other quarterbacks that they named, and again, it was a stat that just stuck with me. I couldn't tell you all of the other QBs, but when you look at all of those other QBs and their roster, it was better. Head coach better, roster better, everything better. And the reason why Deshaun didn't make it to the Super Bowl, let alone the playoffs that season, was because he was devoid of the talent, bro. It's as simple as that, Nick.
Deshaun Watson did what he was supposed to do on that team. Everybody else didn't. But
yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Let's one more football thing before we get into basketball. Your boy Jameis Winston, kid.
He back.
He back in New Orleans.
Better than that.
Got signed a 2-year. Chill out. He signed a 2-year deal with the Saints with $21 million guaranteed. I think it's worth up to 28 or something like that, 25 or something like that. Will the Saints have a chance to win the division now that Jameis is back?
Who's the coach?
Have no idea.
That's the problem. Jameis definitely needs a good coach that'll be able to get the best out of him. But I do think they'll have a shot. Panthers suck. The Falcons gonna suck. Shit. Before Brady came back, the Bucks were gonna suck.
They still got the best defense in the division, I believe.
Yeah, but I think they have a legit shot at it if Watson plays under control and isn't turnover prone. But I'm glad they brought him back. I think he another black man that might take a white man's job at quarterback. So we'll see.
The one thing that screams out to me about this whole signing thing is that Sean Payton really caped for what's his name? Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, yeah.
Taysom Hill got paid off of Sean Payton's recommendation. Taysom Hill is probably still on the roster because of Sean Payton. Taysom Hill is a shitball QB, at best a gadget guy. And the Saints pretty much wasted a lot of cap space on this motherfucker if they're going to do all this with Jameis Winston. Now, saying all that to say, I don't know who their coach is or if they even have a head coach at this moment, but I think they did. They promoted their offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator to head coach, I believe. I think I read that somewhere. But I think they have a shot at the division.
I picked them last year,
because we both did, I think. Because the NFC North, the NFC South, the NFC in general is wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the NFC West, there ain't that many good QBs in that whole conference. Yeah. So somebody's gonna have to. The seven slots. Somebody's gonna have to win. Somebody's gonna have to get into the playoffs. So I think they have a chance. And they had the Bucs number. The Bucs have gotten a little bit worse actually since last year to this season. Yeah. From the pieces that they lost. So I don't know. I think Jameis could have a comeback season.
I hope so, man. I really do. But I'm glad that in spite of everything, this is one of those situations where we look for black quarterbacks to not have to be super excellent in order to keep a job in the league. And I think Brissett's still out there. They keep bringing Tyrod Taylor back. I feel like he's like the Cuba Gooding Jr. of damn NFL black quarterback, like a safe Negro. And who else? Winston, Tyrod Taylor, Brissett, I think is still out there.
Yeah.
And shit, is that it?
I think that's it for backups.
Damn.
I mean,
Russell Wilson's great. But no, I think, he didn't have, I think the old NFL, Winston would be done. I think he wouldn't have a job, honestly. And it's not like the NFL changed all that much, but just enough to keep him still on the roster.
All right, let's move on to some basketball shit. FIFA, did you watch any of March Madness?
Nope.
Damn, not even the Duke Michigan State game?
I watched highlights, but I don't know, man. Like, there was I couldn't tell you the team, but there was like a wide open
Teddy Bridgewater.
He's still out there, yeah.
There was a wide open fast break dunk, and the player's momentum had him swinging. So he held on and jumped right off, and they called the tech. Like, I can't do college refereeing, bro. It sours the game for me too much. I can't do it. Like, I tried and stuff like that. I'm like, no, I can't do it.
I bring that up because we're in the Sweet 16 and ain't nobody really talking about the tourney like that. Like, football is dominating most of this, like all these shit.
Man, I saw Manny said Jaden Ivey is that guy. I was like, who?
I said the same thing.
I tried to watch this Auburn kid that Shelton's been talking about.
Because they said Auburn got like a 2 top 5 draft
them motherfuckers gone. Like. So, but the one that got me, and I watched him play, this motherfucker Chet Holmgren, bro. Man, if y'all don't get the fuck out of here with this motherfucker.
Hey, he the new white boy of the league.
Man.
Damn. What is it that you don't like about him, Cam?
He just looks goofy, bro.
Yeah, goofy. He do.
It's like, if anything, what he's going to be, if he's as good as all y'all say he is, and everybody say he is, he has to be the next Larry Bird. And what I mean by that is you look at this motherfucker and be like, this motherfucker gonna give me work? Like him? Get the fuck out of here. Come on out here. And then he just serve you up. He's gonna have to be like that, bro. Because if he ain't like that, they gonna run his ass about the NBA.
I don't even know what he looked like. Like,
bro,
He's tall and
he
lanky.
looks like fucking one of those fucking Toy Story.
he looked like one of them. He looked like one of them giants from Attack from Titan. And I thought you was gonna say I'm getting pissed off by Gonzaga. I want them to lose so bad, bro. Especially because they got that 34-year-old nigga named Timmy.
I swear, Timmy's been playing for the last 10 years.
He been playing since FIFO been coaching. FIFO probably coached him in his youth.
Yeah, man. Timmy look like he's like a stand there for 48 hours or something with Eddie Murphy. This motherfucker, bro.
Bruh.
But he was cooking in that game.
He's the only adult on the floor. He better be eating all these.
It was the one good game Chet had. Chet had a decent game in the second game. Chet had definitely filled the box score on that one. But Timmy, bro, Timmy was working them boys, man. I mean, he was giving them to him, Nick. made Deshaun Watson jealous.
he was bodying them.
He was. They couldn't handle him in the post.
Handle him, bro. Hell no. They said they threw the towel off. They threw the towel. Let's move on. We going too far. FIFO. The Lakers, man. Do they need to blow up this roster after this season?
They do.
Even with LBJ?
They do. Yeah. Mainly because, look, where do you go from here? You don't have draft picks. AD is what we thought he was. And I've been said it, even though he's immensely talented. Can't stay healthy. Is not a natural leader. Russell Westbrook has been a debacle. So where do you go? Where do you go from here? Are they going to blow it up? More than likely not, because I think LeBron still wants to be there, and I don't see LeBron getting traded unless he wants to be traded. So you're probably going to see everybody minus AD, or everybody minus Russ kind of come back. You know what I'm saying? And then they're trying to, get some guys in free agency and stuff like that. I saw some reports that, the Lakers could trade for Bradley Beal. How? With what? What do you don't have draft picks to give up? What type of talent does Washington want back in compensation for Bradley Beal? So I don't see how they get better. The only way they can get better is, again, by getting older, by getting guys that are minimum contracts to come and play with Bron, and we seeing what that's doing. These old guys can't stay in front of these new guys. Did you see what Carmelo did a couple games ago when he got crossed over? I want to say it was against Minnesota. I want to say it was Anthony Edwards when he went to the rack. Melo just pushed him. That's what old people do when they hoop and they can't get they don't have the lateral quickness no more. I'm there, Nick. Like come on, man. Like me, Melo, LeBron, we all the same age, bro. Everybody, this age group minus LeBron, can't stay in front of people. So I don't know how they get better. In my opinion, yes, blow it up. I don't think that's what they're going to do just because. Yeah, they have LeBron and AD. I don't know where you go unless you're really willing to trade AD. Then that's how you blow it up, because I think that's who gives you the most valuable. Lakers are a clusterfuck, bro.
Just what, 2 years removed from a title?
And I don't know if there really is anything to blow up, but yeah, I think they're. I do think they may make the play-in.
I think I'll be shocked if they still don't. Remember I said that I still would be shocked if they don't. But if they don't, does LBJ take a hit to his legacy based off of how this season goes
He's covering that up
with the
by his
accolades.
place. Yep, by his play. Yep, he's making sure that he's putting up all kind of gaudy numbers and shit. So people look at it like, yeah, it wasn't him. And they'd even gone for damn near half the season.
Yep. And look, LeBron, what is he, like 1,500, 2,500 away from being the all-time leading scorer in the NBA? Like, look, let's be honest, right? Ken, you're 100% right. But it's not like LeBron is only trying to put up numbers. LeBron is still trying to win games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the reason why the Lakers are struggling is not because of LeBron. I think the difference that we're seeing now with LeBron, because when he was younger, he would do the same thing, right? Like his teams weren't always the most talented, but he was so great that he could overcome and pull it along. Where now it's like he can be great, but it's hard to elevate everybody else, especially when everybody's old as him. That's a difficult task. It's a difficult task when your quote unquote superstar point guard is missing layups. How does LeBron overcome? All LeBron can do is go out there and put his best foot forward, which he has done. Nick, would you say that LeBron hasn't had a good season?
Say it again.
Would you say that LeBron hasn't had a good season, or has he?
No. He's had a really good season. My thing is, I only ask that is because our expectations of him going into the season. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't expect us to say at the very least, can you at least get to the play-in tournament? You know what I'm saying? Especially the way he constructed this roster, you would think like, okay, you know how he always likes vets. He got a whole team of them, especially some of them he's been homeboys with for a minute. So I would think that at least they get to the playoffs at it between 6 and 8. But now they're borderline barely making the play-in. To me, that's just, that as again, we're talking about stats as far as how great just the individual is, but also this is a team sport at the end of the day. No one can do it by themselves. No one can do them by themselves, but at the same time, you have to help elevate your team. And I'm not saying LeBron isn't doing that, but it is interesting that he isn't doing that this season. And that's why I'm curious to figure out why that's the case, because his numbers haven't changed. He keeps promoting that shit, that he's still one of the top 5 players in the league, and by the stats, it does say that, but it's not translating. So I'm trying to figure out what's the disconnect, because last year it wasn't no issue to get to the playoffs. Granted, AD wasn't as hurt, but he still was hurt. I mean, he's always hurt. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why is it so? Why are we still expecting them not to get into a play-in when the team is just? I don't know. I just gotta. It's just weird that he's constructed this team and we're now just like, all right, fuck it, we're on to next season.
Well,
You know
I
why?
mean,
Because
at the end of the day, like I was thinking about this, like how many games have AD played this year? Like he damn near missed the whole season, and then I think LeBron missed like 20 games. So it hasn't been pretty.
It ain't been pretty, but I
Let me
still
see.
expect them to make the playoffs. Like that's it. It's like a LeBron James team, a LeBron James led team should make the playoffs. He can't do it by himself, but we've seen him do it with no names and make the playoffs.
But Nick, the difference is on the court, right? Because I agree with everything Ken said. Like a lot of these guys have not, you know what I'm saying? Like they haven't been healthy, including LeBron himself. The difference on the court is LeBron offensively can still dictate a game. Defensively, he can't take over. He single-handedly can't get the stops one-on-one that he needs or as a help defender. It's not on as command anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the things that you notice that slow him down. You know what I'm saying? Like the Cleveland version of 27-year-old LeBron, a decade ago LeBron, this team makes the playoffs. We talk about Miami Heat version of LeBron, this team makes the playoffs because he can literally do it all. He's still good enough to do a lot, but it's not exceptional defensively. He's still exceptional offensively, right? Like as old guys get old in the league, the top scorers still get buckets. They still, know how to move. Shaq was still competing past his prime. You know what I'm saying? Offensively is easy. It's defense. When you got all of these young, crazy athletes that are super fast, can super jump high, LeBron can't simply compete with those guys like that. Not for a whole game, not for a quarter, not like in possessions here and there. Of course, he's LeBron, but he can't dominate defensively.
But going
That's
into
the
the
problem.
season, did you think they would make the playoffs at least?
Of course, because I thought the Russell Westbrook experiment would play out better. Because here's the thing, right? Like, and I say this, y'all can go back and watch the tape. I said I like the Russell Westbrook move at the time because we know AD's made out of glass and LeBron's getting older. One of those two guys is going to have time away. Now you have Russell Westbrook to carry that load. You know what I'm saying? And he's been the furthest thing from that. Bro, look, do you know how many Lakers games I had to turn off at halftime because Russ is missing dunks, layups, hitting up but backboards on his patented pull up. Like, what is that? Like, no. You have a guy that is at that stature, at that price point, and he can't make the simple play. You're doomed.
AD
You're
has
doomed.
played 37 games this season. He played 36 last year, and that was a shortened season.
And Ken, and you know what? And some of those games he's played, he didn't finish. He got hurt in some of them games because he was out, came back, got hurt, and then out again. So realistically, how many games did he finish? It's probably closer to like 20 something.
I don't know. I still would be shocked if they don't make the play-in.
Look, just off of brand recognition and brand name, LeBron James team, the man went a decade straight to the finals. So of course, expecting him to make the playoffs isn't far-fetched, but this scenario is just not ideal.
Let me get to these super chat questions. Stephen A. Spliff, shout out to you. Do y'all think teams should really draft in the first round? Look at Zeke and his contract, C-Mac, and now there are trade rumors for Saquon Barkley.
Damn. Well, it's hard to say because, we can't say that C-Mac didn't live up to being drafted no more. He couldn't stay on the field.
Same thing with Barkley.
He
won Rookie of the Year.
All around back. Yeah, he couldn't stay on the field. Them not being able to stay on the field may be validation to that, but if those guys stay healthy, then we're not asking this question. And Zeke just fell off when he
just every year he just got worse, and that's how running backs are.
Yeah.
I was surprised he got that $100 million contract, but it's the Cowboys, so they're gonna pay him. I think you shouldn't draft a running back in the first round, but drafting the first round isn't a bad thing at all. Kev Timothy, Celtics are 22-4 in their last 26 games. They've got the best defense I've seen since the 04 Pistons. I think they can take out any team in the East. And you gassing up the Celtics right now.
But they are playing really good basketball.
They are playing good ball.
They are playing good ball, but taking out any team in the East, I don't think
they don't look like that team that we saw when the season started. They were trying to fire Udoka when he first started. They look like a completely different team.
I think they'll make some noise, but they're not winning. They're not beating Milwaukee. I don't even think they're beating Miami in a 7-game series.
Oh, they'll beat Miami.
And I don't think they're beating Brooklyn.
They can beat them. The only thing about that statement I don't agree with is the 04 Pistons. Like, hey, put some respect on Ben Wallace, Rasheed, and all of them names, dog. Look, I like what Boston is doing right now, and their defense is good, but it's not 04 Pistons. It's not that. But I do agree with excuse me. Well, I think, and I also agree with the Stephen A. Spliff. They could potentially beat almost any team. There's not a lot of teams in the NBA that have two guys 6'6", 6'7", that's like Jalen and Jason. They just don't. Two wing guys like that, they just don't. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I think obviously it's matchups. Could they beat Miami? I think they could beat Miami. Milwaukee, I don't know about that. Brooklyn, if Kyrie playing, I don't know about that. But I think everybody else is fair game.
I think they could probably take down Brooklyn, honestly, because Kyrie gonna miss up to half of those games.
Well, but he gonna play all them Boston road
Well, he's
games.
gonna miss 3 of those games.
Yeah.
So
like if Kyrie can't play the whole series, I give it to Boston. But if Kyrie plays the whole series, I give it to Brooklyn.
Bucks ain't questionable. I think the Bucks coming out the East.
No, the question was as far as the Celtics beating the Bucks. I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
The Celtics, I think they can easily take out the Sixers.
They could probably beat the Sixers too.
I think they can easily take them out.
I don't know about that. Who gonna guard Joel?
Marcus Smart.
Yeah, Marcus Smart compared to Q.
Yep, 100. He about to shut down whole Joel Embiid. Get Q on the
phone. Drink more water as heading down the stretch. Who's the MVP right now? I'm assuming this is definitely.
Is that Sheldon?
No. This is Drink more water. This may be his little pseudo account.
I'm still saying Embiid.
Me too.
But I think Giannis needs some love though.
You said who?
Giannis.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I think honestly, and I said that in our chat as well. People be sleeping on Giannis, man. Giannis really has been the best NBA player the last 3 years straight. Obviously, he won MVP a couple of those years. But you look at the numbers he's doing. You look at where he got the Bucks right now. I don't see how anybody can really make a case for anybody else.
Because Joel Embiid had less than Giannis for the majority of the season and has kept him in the top 3 by himself. That's the main reason, right? Like I can't say that, Joel Embiid's gameplay has been leaps and bounds better than Giannis. No, it's been relatively the same. But Giannis's team has been more healthy, and more loaded than that Philly team.
So he gets dinged because his squad he got a better medical staff.
We're looking at what separates them. You know what I'm saying? What separates them is Joel had less and maintained the top 3 position all season. He's been healthy all season. That's why. That's the difference, right? Because look, when we're talking MVP race, doesn't it come down to like little minor stuff? Like what's the difference? Like
when we talk MVP, I thought the criteria was who was the best player on the best team in the conference or in the league.
Well, what does MVP stand for? Most valuable player. If you take out Joel Embiid from this equation, this is a lottery team. And because you add him, they're a top 2 team. And again, if Giannis went down, right, with the way that roster is and how they're coached with Bud, they will still be a top 5 team. They don't fall off the face of the earth. You take Joel, they fall off the face of the earth. That's the difference. Now, if Ben was there, if they, if Markelle Fultz ever was, became what he was supposed to be, and Joel was out, you know what I'm saying? Or Joel's having this type of season. Yeah, okay, well, Giannis. You know what I'm saying? Because now the squads are more comparable and stuff like that. You take the best player off, what happens? It should be a top 5 team. But you take Joel off the squad, what are they? Like, and that's a legit question, Nick. Like, you take Joel Embiid off of this team right now, what are they?
They're not a good team. But I don't really look at MVPs like that though. I get why you would, and I get why that's a good case to make it, but we've never judged most valuable player based off of you take this player off this team. What is this team? We judge them based off how we judge them based off of who was the best team and how they're succeeding by what player.
But if it's most valuable player to that team, how do you judge value?
No, it's most valuable player to the league. It's not to the team, it's to the league. It's who's the most valuable player in the league. And that's
to their team. No, who's the most valuable player on their team in the league? Not for the league. What player on their team is most valuable to their team?
Let me ask you this question. Who would you rather have, Joel Embiid or Giannis right now?
Right now, it don't matter.
I'm just asking you right now, gun to your head.
It's legit. It don't matter. It doesn't matter.
I'm asking you, this is off to the side. Who are you picking right now?
Look.
You asking me all these random ass questions and I can't ask you one?
I feel you. No. I'm not saying you can't ask. I'm just saying it don't matter. It legit don't matter. Like the top 2-3 guys, it don't matter, bro. Like it does not matter who. It doesn't matter who.
I think John needs some more love too. I mean, he's right there with the rest of them. Nobody talks about him either.
Who?
Drink More Water asked a good
Ja
question.
Morant.
Why did LeBron win MVPs with Miami then, FIFO?
Did he win MVP with Miami? He won Finals MVP. I don't know if he won MVP in Miami. MVP.
That very few people like those Miami teams, and they were still salty at LeBron for the decision. So the reporters are the ones that vote on this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so they weren't going to vote for LeBron then. And it's probably another reason why Embiid.
He won 2 MVPs in Miami.
Finals MVPs, not regular season MVPs.
No, it was
how many regular season
MVP
MVPs
awards
does LeBron have?
He has 4. He won
2 in Cleveland, 2 in Miami.
He won 2 in Cleveland and 2 in Miami.
I didn't know he got 2 in Miami. Shit. I don't know. Look, here's the thing though, Nick. Sometimes it does come down to the best player on the best team.
Look, here he goes walking back.
I'm not walking back. This year, in my opinion, if that's the case, where's Philly? Are they rated higher than Milwaukee?
No, they're right underneath. It's Miami, Milwaukee, Philly, then Boston at 4.
Okay, who has been number 1 or number 2 the longest? Philly. They've been in that top 2 seed longer than any of those other teams in the East.
So now you're saying the team that has the most success should get MVP?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, look, every year is a little different. Every year, it just depends what's the candidates, what separates them. In this particular year, all I'm saying what separates Giannis from Embiid is that Embiid's team wasn't as good. Embiid is putting up crazy numbers, and Embiid's team has been a top 2 team, top 3 team for the majority of the season. And his team is less loaded than the other teams in the East.
I don't think you should get participate. I don't think you should get empathy points just because your team hurt. It's the most valuable player in the league. It ain't most valuable player in your team. It ain't most valuable player in your conference. Is who's the best player on the best team. That's how it's always been.
And it should be a top 3 team.
It got to be a top 3 team. Okay, in either conference or in the league in general.
In either conference.
Yeah, so to me, that's why I don't think Joker should be in it. I think Josh should be in it over Joker.
So then explain this to me, Nick. How did Russell Westbrook win it when he was like 6th or 7th or 8th seed?
You know why?
He did something that we never seen in the NBA before. In modern NBA history, we never thought we would ever see another NBA.
And that's good enough to win the MVP.
Yes, because Joel Embiid ain't doing that.
But if that's good enough to win the MVP, why can't the criteria where Joel Embiid has done what he's done this season?
Because he's not doing anything we've never seen before. We've seen people carry a shitball team further than they should be. Ask LeBron James.
And still be top 3?
Yes. Ask LeBron James.
And he got 2 MVPs.
Exactly, because
the
times that he won. Do you know the times that he won those MVPs? He had the number 1 seed in the East. He had number 1 seed in the East.
Okay, and Joel's top 3.
All right. Let me get to some of these other super chats. Rob Costa says, worst takes Odd Friday battle, FIFO versus Nick. We're going to have to do that one of these days, FIFO. Drink More Water asks, the Bulls were a fun story to start the season, but after starting the season 26-10 and first in the conference, they have gone 16-20 since then and are now 5th. 0-16 versus top 3 teams in each conference. I'll toss that up to you, FIFO. That's your squad.
Yeah, they've been hurt. Here we go. Obviously, they started off quick, so they didn't get hurt. Lonzo's still not back.
I didn't say nothing. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
gotta.
my
You gotta.
bad, my bad.
I didn't know your job pay you this money to shoot this much bail.
Hey, at least I ain't got to bail out the New York Knickerbockers because you can't bail them motherfuckers.
Look, hurt people. You see it? Every time I talk about your Bulls, you want to bring up. I didn't even ask that question. I didn't even say that statement.
It don't matter.
That's from
Nick.
the audience. Drink more water and ask you that.
It don't matter, Nick.
So you got to talk to him.
Every time we talk basketball, I'm going to bring up them Knicks because you was hella confident. But it is what it is. In terms of the Bulls, man, injuries really slowed them boys down. They was on a really good roll. That dirty play by what's his name from Duke, Grayson Allen on Caruso. If I'm not mistaken, like that knocked him out for a couple months. Lonzo has not been back. Not saying that Lonzo's make it or break it, but Lonzo's 6'5", elite point guard defender in this league. And then even Zach LaVine has missed some time. So a lot of things to overcome. Yeah, they fell down some, but they're still going to be formidable in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Can they move up to 4, potentially 3, maybe? But they're still a good team. People was talking about that they barely would even make the playoffs, and they've been a top 5 team all year. So come on.
We know the seeding in the East is very deceptive because we know that just because you a high seed in the East don't mean that you a good team. We've been proved. LeBron proved that a long time ago. Them Cavs going against them Raptors when they had the number 1 seeds in the East and they get bounced out in the second round. I try to tell you, FIFA, the Bulls ain't doing shit. So that's all I gotta say. Ken, what you got to say about it?
Well, they have better than them Knicks. Lonzo Ball is still hurt. It's still out.
Lonzo No Ball. That's what his name still rings.
Yeah, it still rings. So I'll shoot him a little bell on that. But I was just looking at here. Somebody said Joker was putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers. Clearly, they didn't look those numbers up just to make sure I wasn't crazy. Look at Wilt Chamberlain numbers, bro. His rebounds. I thought that's how many points he was averaging.
Bro, he got like 60 rebounds a game.
20. He was averaging 20 plus points and 20 plus rebounds with assists. So y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. But anyway, but yeah. Was that it?
Yeah, that's it for the super chats.
Shit, that was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot what it was. Getting old, y'all.
Well, that been happened, Ken.
Yeah, actually, I got a dip too.
Yeah.
MF, I see what you said about the Knicks. Oh, no, Sheldon, I see what you said about the Knicks. You ain't shit. MF said Nick better find out Trey's favorite wine because Father's Day coming up. Fuck you, okay? I hate Trae Young whenever he's in the Garden, but I fuck with him when he's in Atlanta. That's all I got to say.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us, man. We thank you guys for showing up for another show, and we'll catch you guys. Gas prices coming down, so things turning around a little bit. But yeah, right now we're probably back Thursday. So we'll catch you guys then. We out. Peace. Efficient triple-double versus Brooklyn.
I can't believe the Knicks lost like that, man.
I can't believe they lost down the stretch like that.
Like that, bro.
Yeah. They just.
And I want to say it was because Julius was hurt. But I can't.
Get out of it. Man,
I can't because I came at FIFA talking about that shit.
Julius Randle's the Baker Mayfield of the NBA. They can't trade him to nobody.
Chill out, because at least Julius got an award for his